My name is Patrick Owen. My idea is to take my last financial aid check and start an indie record label. When you're starting your own business, the smartest thing to do is to contact your friends and try to get as much help as you can. These friends may include a friend to help with camera work, a Grammy-nominated record producer, a band, or anyone else you might know that could possibly help. This is a look inside the start of an independent record label. This is Undergrad Records. Three years ago, I made the decision to take my last financial aid check and start a record label. It was an extremely risky move at the time because all the major labels were in serious decline, but I figured what the hell, I'll figure it out. At the same time, I came up with the idea to document it and put it online for people to see. As the music business moves in waves, that put some pretty long gaps in between the episodes of the show. That never meant that there wasn't movement happening with the label itself. At the beginning of last year, we signed a band called So Sweet the Hour, and the season concluded with their CD release party, which had a record number of people in attendance for a local CD release show. They spent the rest of the time since then going to school and working on new material. This year, we're all going to step it up a bit. I really want to make this happen for the people who have supported me, and the kids want to make it happen because realistically, who the hell doesn't want to be a rock star when they grow up? So let's take a look at the process of creating a song from the very beginning all the way to the finished product.
Don't say Anne-Marie.
No.
Okay. Because I still, to this day, don't know how to make that song work. One more time to the chorus.
We ought all to be honest and to understand. No room for Alice in this wonderland. She loves me too, so what's there to do? I've fallen over you.
So the songwriting process has always intrigued me. You take somebody who has a raw product, right, an idea, and you see how the producer takes that idea, refines it, and polishes it. So pre-production is the first step of the recording process. The producer and the artists usually sit down and audition songs to select which ones will make it on the final record. It's not uncommon for rewrites to happen once the songs get auditioned in the studio, and it's really important to start this process early so everybody's prepared.
What's up, MTV Cribs? Welcome to the Royal Practice Area of So Sweet the Hour. That's Matt, Damien, Tommy's over there, Patrick's over there.
So the kids have quite the rehearsal space at Ian's house, and they meet there weekly to practice their songs. So Sweet the Hour invited us to see the improvements they had made on Just Be My Lady. Since Mac is producing their next album, he felt it was important to go and make sure they were headed in the right direction. During the practice, he gave them some valuable feedback, encouraging them with great ideas and smashing the ones that sucked. I was impressed with how well they had rebuilt the song so quickly, and I was excited to get them back in the studio to start recording the single.
Something about crystal now.
Shit up, look. Alright, from the top, here we go.
So what's the most difficult part of recording drums in the studio?
Just not the whole band playing together, and I'm only hearing like a scratch vocal and like 2 scratch guitars. So it's mostly just me playing and predicting what's gonna come after, and long after I'm done recording. I think also I have to focus on my intensity when I record because there's a lot of things that are coming after me, and I gotta just I can't be drowned out later on in the recording process.
The process for recording guitars for this record this time around is definitely a lot cooler. We've used some pretty sweet guitars. This one is a sweet PRS. We've used a Les Paul Les Paul Custom. Probably my favorite guitar to record with. A single coil American Telly. It plays like a dream, basically. It's really good for the chimey parts of our songs. We use 65 amps, we use orange amps, and we also used a dual professional. That one really has some of the best clean tones that we've ever had at the studio and, like, you know, for the record. And that's been a really cool experience to, you know, to go through.
We owe it all to be honest and to understand. No room for Alice in this wonderland.
Let's do one more stack of that chorus and try one more time.
You got it. During my time as an engineer at the studio, I've learned that vocals are the most critical part of the recording process. Vocals are the key ingredient to selling the song as a whole. After the great lead vocal take is put together, background vocal tracks are stacked on top to finish the recording. The good news is that now that the vocals are finished, the recording process is done.
Sweet.
At this point in the process, all of the musical performances have been captured, and it's the job of the mix engineer to blend those individual tracks together into a cohesive mix. Anthony Diaz de Leon is our mix engineer, and he has a large arsenal of processing tools to tighten and enhance the overall performance. Just as important as how loud any given track is the processing done to it. There are hundreds of types of compressors, equalizers, delays, and reverbs that go into shaping the final product. The song ended up with over 60 tracks of music when the recording was done, and Anthony's final mix utilized 82 faders. That's a whole lot of mixing. And with the final mix done, there's one more step in the process.
Hi, I'm Yui Nastasi. I guess I'm going to give you a little explanation about mastering. Mastering, at least for my concept and the way I've always worked it, it's more of an enhancement. It's more of bringing the music to the next level. It's trying to enhance the interpretation of the artist and the mix engineer of what they've done and try to bring it up to the next level, so it's just maybe a little bit more lively, a little more punchy, or just getting their point across a little bit better. You know, it's really about keeping all the integrity that the artist and the producers and the engineers prior to you have put into it. For the way I work and the way I've come up in the industry and trained, I was a recording and a mix engineer for 15 years before I was a mastering engineer, so I've been doing this a total of maybe 25, 26 years or something. You know, I came up when everything was analog and nothing really digital sounds exactly right for me. So for me, you know, kind of an old school kind of guy, kind of been doing it a long time. I like turning knobs and stuff, so that's the way I kind of approach, you know, the sound shaping and the EQ of things.
So I got the master back of Just Be My Lady, and the song sounds amazing. Yui did an outstanding job. The final step is really just to get it out there to the public. One of the ways that I do this is actually through a website called TuneCore. The nice thing about TuneCore is it makes it a painless way for you to get your music not only on iTunes, but also most of the major music services out there. The process of uploading music to TuneCore is pretty simple. The first thing is you upload the track. Before you upload the track, you put in all the track information, such as the name, the artist, the record label. With TuneCore, you can also set a release date, so if you do want to release it on a specific day, you can. Otherwise, they typically have it up in 48 hours. Once you upload it, the next step is uploading the album artwork. Now that we have everything uploaded to TuneCore, we just wait for it to process and get published. The entire song recording process takes quite some time, but we've got everything finished and the single Just Be My Lady is up on iTunes or your favorite music service, ready for you to go purchase. The next step from here is getting the kids in the studio to record more songs, but they're actually going to be on tour for the next couple of weeks and they leave this Friday. Since I'm not going to be able to go with them and film them, I gave them a flip camera for them to take on their tour, and I'm excited to see what kind of footage I'm going to get back, if any.